Thank you for being here so early after this beautiful event we had. Quite noisy, I must say. We're gonna have this colored stone commission. Sorry for not having with you the president of the commission, as I'm not the president. Charles Abouchard was not able to attend. And the vice president, Nilam Alauddin, neither. That's why we have a secure team to face this meeting. And so I'm only the vice president. Great. Thank you very much for that, Stephen. We're going to go through the minutes of the last commission, which was in November, October, 4th of October? No, sorry. November.
Jeanette, you have to stop.
So this commission was a virtual one during the COVID and was just following the decision taken to have the full disclosure, what we could call the full disclosure. Surprisingly, during the COVID time, we worked a lot. That was the good sign, the good thing of it. There was many virtual meetings, and which brought up to this full disclosure. To remind these things to the floor, before we had the specific and the general information, and from now on, we're following the United States rules, which is to declare all the treatment next to the name of the gems. So an onyx, as an example, should be declared as a dyed agate. So here you have on the screen the minutes of this commission, which I think we should not spend too much time on it. Can you scroll it slowly? All the different articles have been reviewed following this commission by the steering committee. There was lots of little points regarding the oil and the wax, as an example, naming, wording, no major change, to be honest. Could we approve the minutes, please? Anybody against? No, thank you very much. We're going to go now through the minutes of the steering committee, which took place 2 days ago, during which we point out. No, I thought there was maybe someone from the. Tu peux les faire plus petites. Non. Ok, tu peux scroller jusqu'à les codes. So during this steering committee, we point out that in the Blue Book, there was some things which should be corrected, which was actually the codes. As you know, the codes is these letters using to describe the treatment of this gemstone, which should be used only between the industry and not to the private. And this should, the display of these codes in the books has been displayed in a 2 different ways. One in alphabetic order and the other one by external of the treatment to the inside of the treatment, which we thought was not so much convenient. That's why we decided to present to you the choice to show everything in an alphabetic order. I'll show that to you. So that is the first display of the codes in the Blue Book. As you can see, it starts with oil. Oil is on the top, then resin, wax, oil, resin, filling, heating. Then we can see as well that the filling of cavities is before the heating process, which seems to us not so much convenient. That's why we decide to change it to... At the end of the Blue Book, before the Annex A, it's the codes are again presented, and this time in an alphabetic order. Oops. You're too fast, Jeanette. You're too quick. Yeah, here it is. So as you see, this is the alphabetic order, which bring back again the codes. We think that that is the best way to display them, as there's no discussion about the nature of the treatment. Anybody against? Wow. Such a quiet room. So thank you very much. Codes are accepted. C'est bon. I'm sure all of you have read all the papers you receive before the CIBJO Congress. Yes, yes, you did. And especially the one from Charles Abouchard. Don't say no, he's here, listening to you. And he point out some of the problems facing by the industry, especially one which seems to me very... which might brought some problem for future work, is the irradiation of rubies. As you know, the lab so far is not able to distinguish the stone which has been irradiated from the others. We know for sure that this treatment is going on, which might, no, I'm afraid I'm going to say for sure, one day or another, the labs will be able to describe and to distinguish this treatment, and which bring for sure a problem to our industry. And I think that by talking about that, Charles wanted to point out the problems. Yeah. So in case you didn't read it, you should take some time to read this report, which was very well done by my dear president. On the other subject, we have the variety name, which is a subject which I like very much. The thing is that, as you know, there's sometimes some difference between some labs' opinion on some treatment origin, and that's a difficult thing for them. But we realize that also for the variety name, it's already a real problem. Some stones are given emerald by some labs and green beryl by others, some alexandrite and chrysoberyl by others, and things like that. We realize that these variety names doesn't have a are very difficult to define, and that is what the Geological Commission is working on, and we thank them very much for that. Thank you, Uncle. We are sure you'll succeed in this difficult task. But that just shows us how everything is difficult at the lab level, at least for variety name, and of course, much more for the rest of the different problems we're facing. There will be a meeting in this afternoon, I think, in the AV room, which is upstairs, an open discussion between the responsibility of the trade and the responsibility of the lab. The idea is not so much to throw stones to each other, but more to come with a solution. We all know that life is not easy for labs. Giving an opinion and being straightful with it is not that easy. And we know also that trade people are using everything they could to make a profit. So the idea is to come to this meeting in your mind with solutions that could help the industry and not with all your complaints, because we're not going to solve them. Thank you for that. Thanks to the Australian, they've made a tremendous job on an Opal guide. We're going to show it to you. The idea is to have, like we did for the pearls, the coral, and have a description and a guide to help all of us to know more about the Opal. And we had a presentation during the steering committee. Thank you, Terry, for that. We're going to scroll quickly, if you don't mind again, just for you to know about it. The steering committee will work with the Australian Association to make it in a proper way for CIBJO regarding of the names they use, and also to bring all the different opal in that guide, as it could not be just an Australian opal guide. It has to be an whole the world opal guide, of course. You're kidding? No. We have some technical issue. I'm sorry. Yeah. None of us is able to display our screen. Terry, it's not from us. Could we have any help from the computer? Is there anyone in the room who can help us to display this? You've been kicked out of Zoom. Great. Okay, seems like there's no way for you to get in again. So you can have a, yeah, thanks. Here's Superman coming. We're back. Thank you, Superman. Okay. It's coming, it's coming.
Not connected and not on the screen.
Superman. So yeah, it's coming. Yeah, here we go. Thank you. Don't leave too far. Okay, can you scroll it? Great. So this presentation was, the idea is to go through all the opals and to help us to understand them well. There was some subject about should the hydrophane opals being a variety name or characteristic. There's some little issues like that we have to sort out. That will be the work of this year. So I invite you to come next year to see the results. Thank you very much. Yes, please.
There's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, sorry for that. Huh? Yeah. Well, if any of you wants to know more about this Opal guide, Terry is here, of course. We're here because it seems that it's not working so much. So we are sorry. Any other businesses that some of you want to dress up? To address? Yes? I'm sorry for the one online. We cannot show you the Opel guide anymore. And nor the rest. There's no share of the screen so far. Could we give a microphone to the room? That'd be nice. Do you want mine?
Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dax Nini. I'm from Texas. A colleague of mine from Bangkok has asked me to distribute some material regarding marketing. This is covering Shamili. Oh, forgive me. I'll sit now. Thank you. It's the next meeting.
Yes. Could you please bring a microphone to this nice gentleman standing here?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dharmendra Khan from Jaipur. Just a request with the Cornerstone Commission, while working closely with gemological laboratories, could we make it a bit simpler for at least at a consumer level, that we don't use too many fancy names, which are in a way a disillusion while they are trying to read the reports?
What do you mean by fancy names?
We are using terminology like diamonds, like vivid, intense, crimson. Okay, we used to have like two very common terminology, pigeon blood or royal blue. But now we see so many different labs using different terminology, which is quite confusing. And even on the heating level, if you look at the reports, now they've started mentioning a low heat and a heat. I think that's quite confusing at a consumer level.
Thank you, Dharmendra. I'm afraid that these labs are, most of them, commercial entities. And they have the right to do whatever they want on their reports. I'm afraid there's nothing that CIBJO could do to enforce them not to use these terms.
I'm not asking them not to use, but to make it a simpler way. Discuss it with CIBJO what is right. It's good to make a history or a story behind everything. But if it is something which even we can express it easily to the clients.
Okay, so you want the CIBJO to work on the word, the colored term description, which should be used and not others.
Exactly. If we can do that. I'm not pushing anyone for that. And because at a lot of levels, we as the manufacturing countries are pushed by the buyers, like we were talking yesterday about sustainability and stability. So why it's always only the manufacturing part that we are pushed up? Thank you.
I think that Ken's like to answer to you. But
okay, the president of the sector will answer you. I don't, because it's my more knowledge.
Thank you. It's a great question. It's a great statement. But we have a meeting this afternoon where these things, exactly these type of things, can be brought up and discussed, rather than in this commission meeting.
That's going to be a huge meeting. I don't remember. Sorry. No, I'm kidding. It's. I think it's 4 o'clock. 4:45, heavy room, which is upstairs. It's a teeny room, so yeah, be prepared to stand. Any other subject? No? Wow. That should be in the record. Huh? They've never have any commission that quick. Well, thank you very much. If there's no other subject, this session is over. Thank you very much to all of you. Sorry for getting you early, out of your bed so early. Oh, yes, no. Yes, there's someone who'd like to speak. I think I know his face.
Nobody knows me. By the way, thank you, Emmanuel. I think that you have managed the session very well. So I will inform Charles that that he's online, so you will be happy as well, him. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your participation this morning, even though we start early after the night we had last night. But I would like to take the opportunity of the last questions. Thank you for the question, by the way. Because CIBJO is working and is quite ready, if not ready to go, because tomorrow we will have a presentation of what is the academy, where we have put in a very simple, readable, understandable way for the entire industry, starting from the consumers, because they are the first one that have the right to understand, not the option, the right to understand, number one. And for those, for the entire supply chain, that with all the due respect, sometimes they have, let's say, a partial knowledge of what they handle. Jewelry, gemology, and all the different details in the jewelry business at large are not something simple. I have said in one of my events when I was national president in Italy that I myself, I start to study when I went to the kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, and so on, till university and PhD. I think this could be a good opportunity for all the jewelers or all those that are involved in jewelry, maybe to read some book and have some certificate of an acknowledgement, and acknowledge their knowledge. Because if somebody is fully prepared to handle the consumer or to handle each one of client, because consumer is not only the very final one. I am consumer of Emmanuel because I buy the stone from him, or a consumer of the lab because I go to the lab. I am consumer of my suppliers. But the suppliers have to explain me what I'm buying in the right way, because it's a marketing tool. Apart the knowledge, is a marketing tool. If I explain to my client exactly what is the item, how it's done, and the origin, whatever, then I can improve the quality of the business and the quality of the profession. Because we exercise a profession. But this profession, you got the license, you want a shop, you open the door, that is the shop. What kind of studies you have done? So this is the intention, with all the due respect and very humbly, that we have decided to put the academy in place, which is the first step. If you were here yesterday, you saw Professor Alba Capellieri, #1 in the world. #1 in the world. Nothing to do with the fact that he's Italian, or also to do with the fact that he's Italian, but she is the professor in charge of Politecnico di Milano, jewelry design, ethical design, interior design, and so on. She is consultant of the top companies around the world. But we are, since over 1 year, talking, because what we want to do, our intention is very simple. We want to increase the level of this industry. And we are here because you. We are not here because we choose to be here, apart the passion that we may have. Because this is a democratic organization where the people is elected, you know, in the entire chain. And if the people is elected, it has to work. And when the people is elected, they don't work, then maybe, you know, somebody else may replace who is more committed. But apart that, our commitment is there towards the benefit of this industry, to elevate this industry. Each one of you, when travel, you know, and if by economy they can see maybe the lounge with the business class, oh, well, I would like to be upgraded to the business class. When you are in the business class, I would like to be upgraded to the first class. Let's upgrade all together. I look forward to have your support, help, and contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gaetano. And congratulations for the day we had yesterday. It was a very good panel. Thank you very much for organizing that. That was a high level. Yes, CIBJO, that's great. Yeah, CIBJO. I guess that nobody else wants to speak after Gaetano, no? Yes, Olivier Galibert, please.
Thank you. No, what Gaetano just said is just excellent. But the fact is that if nobody is able to enforce what is being put in place in wording, then there's no way that the things will really improve. So I know it might be some kind of dream action, but you know, in markets in Europe, you have people going around and they check that the quality of the honey, for instance, is actually honey. Because some of the honey comes from some countries and it's only sugar. So I think that in the end, the best thing that could be done for this industry is to have people, I don't know from which body, I don't think CIBJO can do it, but maybe I'm wrong, but anybody that would go around in, you know, gem shows, which is today the window to the world, because the trade is very complicated. I mean, Bangkok 25 years ago was full of people walking down the street, brokers and stuff, going to offices and stuff. These days it's only shows, you know, like here in India, there's so many shows and everybody's there, jewelers, dealer, everybody. The whole thing is like, you know, lost in, we don't know how to deal with the dealers and the private consumers stuff. So I think there should be a body, an organization who try to put in place people going in shows and going like we do the sample, the spot checking on stones, on gemstones in laboratories, and go to booth and check what they sell, whether the way they put it on display with the right wording, which is all about it, because the Blue Book is a fantastic thing. But the problem is nobody is out there making sure that the Blue Book is applied. So I was at a Hong Kong show and I'm entering this booth with Indian Thai people, and it's not because they're Indian or Thai, we don't care, you know, they're French or they're American, and it's the same. So they have beryllium-treated sapphires, full window of beryllium-treated sapphires. And I just enter there, I don't know the guys. And I say, well, how do you invoice that? And we say, well, we call them fancy sapphires. But I say, it's not fancy sapphires, it's treated sapphires. But they don't even know about it. And this is a very big and very wealthy company. So what Ken is putting in place is fantastic. And I think the fact that it's going to apparently be free to everybody is also really amazing, because education is number one. I mean, I'm one of the most graduate in the world in terms of gemology, but I spend my life giving free advices to big jewelers in Paris or anywhere in the world, or auction houses, because they don't know what is behind what they sell. So if we don't have a body, any kind of organization, I don't know which one, which is going to go around and prevent people from doing things that they should not be doing, then we will never go out of this nightmare. So we'll talk later about the labs because that's a really big issue and there's so many things to be done and I have very good ideas about it because I've been working like 30 years about the whole thing. But also the Blue Book is great. But if we cannot have somebody check, then you see what I mean? There's no way out.
Thank you, Olivier. To make it short, you want to have a body who will enforce the people to follow the rules. That is not CIBJO rules. CIBJO is here to nomenclature and to give the rules when there's no law in the country, but not to enforce it. What's a nice idea? I love it. Why don't you create an entity to do it? Maybe some other people will like to join and to push the people to enforce it, but for sure it's not the job of CIBJO, unfortunately. But on the other hand, CIBJO approach most of the show organizer, asking them to follow the CIBJO rules. And normally, when you sign for a booth in a show, you have to follow the CIBJO rules. It's written somewhere in your contract. I'm afraid there's not much more that CIBJO could do. But I'm happy to see that you brought it up in CIBJO because, as Gaetano was said, we're number one. Thank you for that. Any other subject? Thank you very much. Have a good day.
The next session, very loud. The next session is scheduled for 10 o'clock over here. This session ended early. But I think we're gonna have to keep to the schedule that was online because we do have people joining online. And so you guys can have coffee. Please be back by 10 o'clock.